for a moment while our project manager is retrieving documents. What do you want to discuss next?
Whatever you want.
You said you guys want to cover something while he was getting his stuff.
Yeah, so you want to go into the lighthouse?
Sure. First item then will be item 3 on the agenda, official agenda for folks listening to the recording, is the discussion of the Lighthouse Park.
Yeah, and the lot. I think they are in sort of in conjunction.
And a lot of back, yes. On this item, several months ago, we instructed President to review the properties that REAC owns around Kohler Hospital to see if we can make more effective use of that. It has, for the last several years, been in a state of disrepair, used primarily as storage and parking by Kohler Hospital. Upon request and insistence, they did manage to clean up most of the garbage and burned out cars and other unfortunate debris in that area. But it still is an area that the roads need repairs. There's plenty of space there that could be used for a variety of public purposes. So with that, what did you find out?
There's many things one can find out about that particular property. As you see in the diagram, there are many areas that are used by Kohler Hospital for primarily their use, and the parking lots are one of them. Now, I have had conversations with Kohler, actually with Mike Coles, talking about what is going to be done, how we can reclaim the property that we have. He, of course, has his boss, HHC. He has gotten involved with HHC, talking to HHC. They're not very open to us using any property that is ours. There are some.
This is so ridiculous.
But right.
People don't want me to use my living room either, but I just do it.
But you do it. The problems are that there was an arbitration at one point or another that said that we would have to provide parking for Kohler and Gullyville. And this was a long time ago.
The west side lot is being effectively used as a parking lot, to the most part.
Yes.
The east side lot has, for the last several years, just been a garbage dump for them, and that really needs, it wasn't even fully populated by cars.
Well, if you look at this area and this area, they do use.
Those two have been cleaned up a little bit.
And they use it.
Yeah.
The ones
They
right
use it
behind
for
the building.
parking.
Yeah.
And they use, you're right, on the west side, they use the parking also. The big thing that is in contention is the one on the east side, the larger lot, which they use sporadically for whatever. We do have we have to give them parking, but moreover, where we have not gone forward with this is, and this also goes into the Lighthouse Park, is that they got a whole bunch of money from FEMA to do mitigation measures.
Mm-hmm.
They have not gotten back to us on what they're doing. We reached out to them, and because we're a state agency, a lot of the discussion is not between me and like the mayor or something, or HHC, the president of HHC. It is, on somewhat of a higher level.
For the recording, Director Christian has arrived as well. She is, we're arranging seating, so we will resume in a moment.
So isn't FEMA funding though going to do really the
We
real?
really don't know.
Well, there's a number of things that I understand that the hospital, because of the life critical nature of it under various rules, some players from the VA, they're supposed to do some flood remediation because they have patients there under critical care, long-term care. So because their core infrastructure was flooded out, which put patients at risk, they need to do some remediations. Which involve them moving their oxygen supplies, moving the water, air, handling equipment, their power equipment. But they still need to do something about flood management because it'll happen again. And their facility is really low on the water table, on the elevation lines. So from what I understood, they were instructed to build some, as we discussed in our meeting, some berms or other flood management capability around the building. And I haven't seen any.
Well, you're absolutely right, there were two plans, one around the building, and then they said, oh, no, that's not right, we'll do this for you, we'll put it around the point of the island and around, so Margie was right and you're right, because
Yeah.
we've heard about both. But now, recently, we've heard about nothing. So, given that, because we had grave reservations about putting it around the tip of the island because of the surge issue. And we said, like, if you do that, then you're going to have to show us where the surges are gonna be, because we don't want flooding on, low, somewhere
Well,
else.
the bigger challenge is that if you build a flood remediation improperly, you end up constructing a bathtub.
Exactly.
Right,
And the flood waters rise and fill it up, and so it even takes even longer, and it causes more damage.
Yeah, so that's one we're absolutely no place. They have cleared it up a bit, but we're still in discussion, and
what does it say, when it says we have to provide them parking, does it say how much or where?
it's a really unclear statement, but then again, they're very unclear also as to who they have there that needs parking. I mean, that's what we have to clarify too.
In the past discussions that we've had under previous administrations, where we've asked them this question directly, they said that there was some gentleman's agreement or some agreement that either, they said, well, why can't they park in Motorgate? Because we were having a lot of issues with on both sides of the island, where people were speeding in and off of shifts, and we had a number of instances where people almost run over because they were in a hurry. We don't have that problem with the Goldwater anymore, but with Kohler. So they said, well, no, that we had some agreement, whether it was official or not, and they couldn't tell me, that if we took away their parking or charged for that we had to provide them a bus, which was not going to work. Come on, really?
First of all, the bus is not,
These are the stories.
There is an arbitration even, it's not a story.
Yeah.
I don't remember the exact wording of the arbitration agreement, but there is some semblance that we have to provide parking. I remember it as providing parking in Motorgate, and I don't know how it developed there.
Right.
It doesn't seem to be any written agreement.
I never got any solid confirmation of exactly the terms of this agreement.
However, at this point in time, I don't know if we have space for them in Motorgate.
Well,
if the truth be
right. The other thing is that at the time they were constructing Octagon, and I was newly on the board, I had brought up, well, the area on the east side of Kohler was such a disaster. I said, why couldn't we have the Octagon construction crew, while they were there, just raise up all that broken asphalt and garbage and stuff and plant it? Because they had all the construction equipment there anyway, it wouldn't have taken a whole lot to do that. And the administration at the time said, oh no, we can't touch that space because of some agreement with Kohler. So I said, well, can we do any parking studies with cameras or whatnot to verify exactly how many parking spaces they're actually using? Because all the times that I have gone past that spot, it is almost always empty, and it was filled with debris, not filled with actively parking cars.
Well, if you go by it now, and they had also trailers there, which we had them removed. They're really huge trailers. So we got those removed, and they do use some peripheral parking, and truthfully, people park there, they come off the...
Some parking, actually, from a public use standpoint, some parking there would be great for the use of the South Point Park. That is, if we took some of that and just cleaned it up, raised it up, and put down grass and park benches and Lighthouse Park, yeah, the whole place behind, directly back there. Put some, need some more coffee. Put some, grass and picnic benches and more grilling facilities. The public would probably really like it. Maybe even some more exercise equipment, because I see the exercise equipment we have put out has been really successful. And we're getting more and more usage of the sports facilities, the tennis courts on that side. The pony field still needs work, but obviously the Zog Sports people have been heavily using the soccer field. So if we had more picnic facilities there, I think that would be awesome. Some of it could still be used for parking, because the roadways there are laid out so poorly. There's roads there that really aren't of any use. So And there's a lot of things we could do to, one, facilitate some parking and turn that space into some usable space for the public.
I absolutely agree. I mean, we brought this up a while ago, and we've been trying to negotiate with HHC, not the easiest group of people to negotiate with.
But given that it's our
But
property,
why is
why
it-
don't
why
we
is there
just
no
say, look, here's
negotiation?
what we're gonna do, we're gonna provide this parking here, any overage can go into Motorgate, because we still have a little bit, we don't have tons, and we couldn't put everybody there, but we have
But
enough,
I don't think
and we're taking this back. You don't like it, it's up to, I mean, they don't like it, then it's up to them to take some kind of action, otherwise we're gonna talk about it for the next couple of years, and, I mean, we've talked about
we
it
moved,
all
yeah,
done,
we moved a little bit.
but we're
And-
still not there.
We're still not there.
I mean, I
We-
think that's a
we-
reasonable compromise, here you go,
We
you got this, you got this,
we
and
have a
overage.
meeting with them
I mean, if you look at
on
just
the
the,
22nd.
at the size of this space, if you just look at it as blank space,
Right.
okay, we've got some poorly laid out roads.
Yeah.
We got, it's just effectively it's a mess there. So can we provide them with some parking? Assuming they're gonna put in some money for some parking, some pavement, and relay out the roads. We have a nice walkway. We have some landscape ground there to put some park facilities, and then turn some of it that's at the convenient locations for their entrances, maybe some parking, but not the way it is now.
No,
Now
I
it's a-
mean,
it's-
you have,
it's-
see, their
it's a
property
waste of
line goes
space.
almost up to the road, that's another problem, because we have this, this area, so
That's something other thing we should check. 'Cause
Yeah.
I thought that their property line ended 10 feet out from the wall of their building.
well,
Well,
it is. Because, remember they had like,
That square is not 10 feet out from the wall of their building.
well, it's out from this,
Because there's also like the pavilions over here,
yeah.
and there's so, and this whole cutout, I mean, that's a big square, there's a lot of space in the middle there.
yeah, so, here, this was, if you look at
I
this
mean, do we have an
diagram
exact
here,
survey of
This-
what is theirs?
This is the diagram that was given to me, and it looks like, if you blow it up, there are some leaps and bounds here.
Right, but there's the red box, which is their building.
And
There's
the
the
green
green
line.
box, which they're claiming is theirs. Do we have any?
No, it's not, we did this.
Oh, okay. Do we have any actual legal determination from a survey standpoint as to where the property line effectively ends?
Law and,
Because that came up in the whole thing
Yeah.
with Cornell.
yeah,
And actually, technically, this is over the property line just a little bit.
yeah, then, law and engineering would have to look at
Sorry.
the specifics of it, and we can have that done.
Okay, that'd be
Okay.
great. Because we want to, they are neighbors, and we do want to facilitate them having parking. But the space is just really used so poorly. that We
If I
could probably
follow-
give them better parking, a cleaner road, and cleaner walkways in and out of their building. And we get more parkland out of it.
If I thought for 1 minute they really needed all that, I would have a whole
Yeah.
different feeling, but that thing has been empty for years
No,
now.
I agree with
it's
you,
not
they're going
working
to
out.
need like the front of it, because they do use that.
The
Maybe-
front,
maybe-
yeah,
maybe
when I
this,
chalk around
and
there,
they
I
proceed
agree,
to
the
go back
front
here.
is, the front of it is effectively utilized.
Yes,
Yeah.
And they may
Yeah.
even, they could actually, from the looks of it, maybe use a little bit more parking in the front if we relay out the way the road is there. Give them more parking in the front. Because they may not, I mean, they probably need some road access in the back for deliveries of locks, I mean,
Right.
liquid oxygen and stuff like that they use for their facilities and truck deliveries. But they don't need what they have, and they're not
No.
using what they have.
no, and we also have like, we also have the issue of, the berm, and where that's gonna be.
Well, they're gonna have to do some significant, work in waterproof landscaping around the building or some flood control to prevent water from getting into their lower lying areas. But we haven't seen a plan from them,
No,
and that could be part of the same issues, at least,
yeah.
I
we
know
had a
that
meeting
on
with
the
them.
north end, that there was some areas that I saw with flood damage, that they have entrances to the building, to the lower levels of the building that were below grade. So the water would come up, it was in those slides, the pictures I presented, that water would come up, it would pour down into the building, go right down into the sublevels. So, Miss Birdie has been waving her hands at me.
Well, I'm on the community board of Kohler,
And one thing is that, they were completely wiped out in Hurricane Sandy. They were gone. So the trailers and stuff, a lot of the stuff, and they're still not finished rebuilding, because rebuilding everything on the second floor is really horrible. So they're still into rebuilding some of that stuff. I agree that that whole backyard, that whole area should be bulldozed and proper parking spaces be put in there. Also, Vito, the head of security there, hospital police, knows exactly who parks there, because every car has to have a sticker. So I
Well,
mean, yeah.
actually, Judy, that's only recently, because we talked to them, and truthfully, we don't have any insurance from them, and we have this letter that, and they park there, and some of them have stickers, cause I go down there all the time, and some of them don't,
Well, I mean,
you know?
I know people who go there for meetings, have to get a pass or a permit, but in general, the employees who park there, who are the employees, are supposed to have stickers. But I agree, it's a mess, but I really think that they were here long before we were here. They've been here since 1952.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know the date, though, but in 52.
You're slipping.
So really, I think that, we should work it out and not make them our enemy, because
They're not our enemy.
No, that's why I said I want to work it out with them, but the space is a nasty
Yeah,
space.
I agree.
They
Um,
cooperate
when
too.
I do
They
bus
need-
tours, it's a horror to bring a bus back there and try to get
Right.
it to turn around.
Yeah.
It's
They need
disgusting.
better roads, because like in the spring when I went jogging by there,
Yeah.
and they had those 18-wheelers that were delivering large supplies like
Yeah.
medical equipment.
Right.
It's all pitted mud,
Yeah,
and they're
I
trying to
know.
move equipment through there. That's not effective for them.
I know.
If we figure out if we need to lay out more roadway in the front, more parking in the front, or better layout in the
Better
front,
layout.
and in the back maybe we have a better entrance or freight facility for them to deliver in the back, then the rest of that space, which really isn't used properly at all, can be more effectively put to public use, and it'd be safer. Maybe we get better lighting, maybe we get better,
Well, one other thing I would ask you, if you're reconsidering the roads around there, there's no direct access from Kohler onto the promenade. The patients in wheelchairs cannot get on the promenade. And that's why they're hanging out in the street in front of the hospital, which is really dangerous, because the buses and cars go by.
But that's some ADA issues, though. that we have
Well,
to
I
think
know,
about.
but they need a place that they can wheel safely onto the promenade. And I think if we're going to start working with them, it would be really nice in some way to offer them, since it's our
Yeah.
property,
We need to
that,
deal with we need to make sure we get these boundary lines laid out properly, so we get the proper insurance stuff laid out for the front and the back, and it's just a lot of it's been really loose.
Yeah, well,
So-
they used to rent out the parking lot and collect fees,
So
so now we've changed that, so it's like,
I know they gave parking tickets there. People would come up to play at the soccer field and park there, and they would be giving out parking tickets if you didn't, especially on
who
weekends.
gave the parking?
Hospital police.
Well, they asked Jack to do it.
They usually ask us.
Yeah, so I mean.
But they also can, they've also come around, their police have nothing to do on a Sunday, so they would go around giving tickets. This was a year or so ago, don't ask me if they're still doing it.
Kohler recently did some asphalt painting about 3 weeks ago. I'm thinking if it troubled them enough, they could have asked, or they could have extended their paving. They took care of their walkway. They did about maybe 3,000, 4,000 square feet.
basically, we have to work together better.
Yeah.
With better use of the land and provide them better facilities than what they have now, because the roadways they have not effective, the walkways they have not effective, and the place looks bad.
I think, like many things on this island, change is really hard because they were used to using the property, just using it, like the pavilion. We've been in discussions with the pavilion because seemingly they built it, but it's on our property, and whether we should use it or can use it. So it's like, to take something away from people is always hard. And it's harder than anything. And this, they used it all these years, there was some kind of agreement, nobody is quite certain what it was. And now we want to use a portion of it, and even that is difficult. So you're right, we have to learn how to work with each other and both give a little. And
But
I
also
think
the
we're
fact
working
is,
through that.
it's not just that it's
It's
our
not in
property.
your living room,
It's not in the living room, right, but, they were not exactly good neighbors as far as keeping it clean and safe, and it was a mess. And if you're gonna be on somebody else's property, and everybody wants to work together, you gotta start by at least keeping it
Yes.
in a way that's safe.
I agree, that's why I had them clean it up, because I had a very nasty gash on my knee because I fell in there. And all I had to, I only had relapse, you know.